So we are starting at learning target number 9. And learning target number 9 is going to take us a couple of weeks because the learning target 9 is I can solve equations, which is a big learning target. There's lots of different types of equations, and each one is just a little bit different. So we need to make sure that we see lots of different types of equations so that we know how to solve an equation. This is probably the most important thing that I will teach you this year, and it's very early in the year. If you cannot solve an equation, you will not be successful with the rest of algebra or geometry or algebra 2. Nothing else that you do in math will you be successful if you can't solve an equation. So that's one reason we're taking about 2 weeks on this. By the end of this 2 weeks, I want to make sure that each and every one of you is successful in solving equations. So thinking back to what we did yesterday, where we used our answer to create an equation by using the golden rule of algebra and order of operations. Well, now we're given the equation and we need to get the answer. We're still using the golden rule of algebra and we will use order of operations, but this time we're going to use it backwards. So, step 1, use order of operations backwards to determine which operation to cancel. So remember, our goal in solving an equation is to isolate the variable. So I want to get x equals something. Once I have that, I have my equation solved. In order to do that, I need to cancel the operations that are with the x. So thinking about if I knew what x was and I substituted the value in, order of operations would tell me to multiply before I add. But when we solve an equation, we cancel order of operations backwards. So I'm going to cancel my addition before I cancel my multiplication. Now the thing that makes this one a little bit tricky is that I'm adding a negative. In order to cancel adding a negative, I'm going to add a positive. So I'm going to add 3 to both sides of the equal sign to cancel my negative 3, leaving me with 5x equals 15. So what did I just do? I used the golden rule of algebra. Whatever I did to one side, I did to the other. Now yesterday I warned you about being careful that you didn't do it to one term. And it looks like I'm adding 3 to one term and not the other term. But I'm adding 3 to the left-hand side of the equation, and then I'm combining my like terms. And my like term is that negative 3, which is why I just threw it next to the negative 3 to begin with. All right, step 3 is to repeat as needed. So I go back to step 1, use order of operations backwards. Well, this time I've only got one operation left, 5 times x. How do I cancel multiplication? With division. So whatever I do to one side, I'm using the golden rule now, I do to the other. My 5's cancel, leaving me with x. 15 divided by 5 is 3. So let's check our answer. Maybe we made a mathematical error somewhere along the way. Maybe I added 3 incorrectly to 12. So I'm going to substitute 3 for x, and check my answer. Does this work? Order of operations tells me I have to multiply first, and then add my negative 3. 12 does equal 3, so it checks out. Alright, so I'm going to end the video on this one. We're approaching our 5-minute mark. So between videos, before you click on the next one, use the process on the right-hand side to solve the equation, and then start the next video to check your work.